Hi guys, this is Dr. Sharnael Wolverton with Swiftfire. I am so excited because I have some really crazy, awesome revelation that I woke up this morning. I feel like a freaking mad scientist because I have so much to unpack, and it may take a couple of videos. So please, if you can right now, if you're somewhere where you can take a piece of paper out and write something down, I would really appreciate it. Kelly and Angela, write this down, tag your friends, and let people know, because today, and hey, Anastasia, we're going to talk about to be or not to be. That is the question. And we're going to talk about split energy. Okay, I'm going to make this kind of short, as short as I can. And I'm also going to probably have a part 2. Hey, Angela. Or maybe even a part 3, because I choose to really unpack this. But so we've been talking about the heart being electric. What we think upon, what we say, what we feel, all creates an energy. Okay, everything is frequency. Hey, Tammy, everything is vibration. Everything is energy. Everything is code. So this morning I wake up and I see all this code, and I've been seeing, of course, in the past and present, biofields, and since little, oftentimes code and numbers in the field. There are maps, there are code, there are lots of different things in the biofield that are surrounding us, and it's really coming from within us and coming out of us, and therefore we attract whatever we are. And so if you are peace, you get peace. If you are love, you get love. If you are angry, or if you're criticizing, or if you're in judgment, then guess what? You get a match to that. And I have tons of videos on these. If you go back and look on my YouTube or get in my Divine Science, hey April, hey Christiana, then you will get a lot more information about all of this. But this morning, check this out. So I was thinking about to be or not to be. That is the question. To be is presence. To be is to stay. And when we can be, and actually the scriptures that says I am that I am, if you look up the word I am, it's actually the Greek 1510, which means to be present, to be fully on, to, hey Brenda, to be present, present his presence. I am that I am. And so I woke up with that, and I understood about the Alpha and the Omega. Okay, stay with me. The Alpha and the Omega, in Revelations 22:13 and Revelations 1:8, it talks about how he is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. And in Revelations 1:8, it says that he is the Alpha and the Omega. Hey, Stacy, the one who was and is to come. Okay, so he was present, he is present, and he is to come present, meaning he will always be. I am that I am. Okay. And when I looked up Alpha and Omega, the description and or definition of those things have to do, they're both similar. Endless infinity, okay? The unoriginated originator of life that is eternal. The Omega, the Alpha and the Omega. He is the unoriginated, always been, I am that I am. He was, and he is to come. Hey, Adriana. Hey, Bethany. So think about in scriptures too, they talk about contracts. They talk about witnesses. They talk about, hey, Amy, he talks about witnesses where 2 or more are gathered. Where 2 or 3 of mine are gathered. And in Matthew 18, he talks about if anyone sins against you, go to them. If that doesn't work, go and bring 2 or 3 witnesses. If that doesn't work, bring multiple people. There's a lot of talk about multiplication. There's a lot of talk about 2s and 3s. And so that kind of got me thinking, again, going back to I am that I am, he's basically like a contract, 2. When you sign a contract, there's 2 different things. You got to sign, one person signs and another person signs. So the Alpha and the Omega, the I am that I am, is he was present before and he's still present. And even in the scripture 1:8, it says, and he will be present. So he's making a contract and a promise within himself for us that we are, that he is present. He is promising us and being a witness to himself, as in a contract, that he is that he is. Okay, so think about contracts. Think about the rainbow, the 7 spirits of God. Those are each color. It represents the 7 spirits of God. So really, that's 7 signatures. 7 signatures saying, I am that I am. I am all the things that I am. I am might. I am power. I am all these things. Now think about a double rainbow. That's definitely I am that I am times 2. That's all the 7 spirits of God times 2. He's constantly talking about having a witness where 2 or more are gathered, or 2 or 3 are gathered, where I am there. I'm there in the midst. Okay, so let's break this down even better. You guys get ready? This is the part that's like really going to freak you out, because it freaked me out. To get a piece of paper, and I want you to write down 1 equals finances, heart. I want you to write underneath that 1 equals finances, mind. And then underneath that, I want you to write 1 equals finances, mouth. Okay, so 1 equals finances, heart. 1 equals finances, mind. 1 equals finances, mouth. 3 things in 1. Okay, so that'll be 1 plus 1 plus 1. I'm going to give you a visual. I'm going to turn this around and show you what I have so far, just so you can see this. I hope this works. We got 1 equals finances, heart. 1 equals finances, mind. 1 equals finances, mouth. 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 3, which is really 1 to the 3rd power, which again is the witness. Okay, the witness. Now, that is where 2 or more or 3 are gathered in my name. When we have the alignment of the mind, the heart, which is right here, and the mouth, speech, that's where magic happens. That's where the magi happens. That's where alignment happens. That's where you get not only 3, but you get 1 to the 3rd power. So you could say it either way, but for the sake of just this demonstration, I choose for you to see in a visual of how this works with energy, because there's an energy to thinking about your heart and your mindset of being provision. There's an energy and a vibration to thinking about being provision and remembering provision. There's an energy and a frequency and a code to feeling that you are present. I am that I am provision. There is a feeling and a vibration and a code to speaking about being and remembering I am that I am provision. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 3. And when that alignment happens, there is a code that's basically 1 to the 3rd power, which is the manifestation of God I am, witnessing to himself. And that's where creation happens. This is where it happens. I am finances. In my heart, in my mind, and in my mouth, I'm speaking those things. Now, you can change out the word finances with anything. You could put in peace. I am peace. I am love. I am justice. I am power. I am divine health. You could put those in, and you can have the same equation as when you are present, when you are fully God I am, when you are the 7 spirits of God, times 7, times 3, times 2, whatever you choose, there is a manifestation of that, because this alignment is so important. Mind, heart, mouth, vibration, and code brings that manifestation, brings that multiplication. Now let's look at something else real quick, because it says where 2 or more are gathered in my name, 2 or 3, there is love. There I am present. That's where the manifestation happens, because when you are those things, when you're talking about it, thinking about it, feeling it in your heart, that's all code that goes out into your biofield, comes out here. It's all code out here, and guess what? We get only a match to what we are. And that's how we manifest those things. That's we attract them into our lives, okay? Are you guys following me? Hey, Rose. And so now, why is this important? Okay, I want you to look at something. Get out your piece of paper, and I want you to put 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 3 minus 1 minus 1 minus 1 equals 0. All right, I'm going to give you a visual. Let's look at this. 1 mind, 1 heart, 1, that's talk, which is really 3, 1 to the third power. But for the sake of all, whatever, let's say that's 3. Minus 1. Okay, so your provision, right? But then you start thinking about the bill that you have. Guess what? That's a negative 1. Then you start feeling fear or whatever, you feel lack. That's a negative 1. And then you may even talk about it. Let's write down talk with speech about it. Guess what? Now you are negative 3. You're 0. You didn't go anywhere. 1 plus 1, your provision in your mind, your provision in your heart, your provision in your speech. And guess what? Then you start thinking about the bill. You start feeling about the bill. And then you start talking about the bill, which is nothing. And guess what? That's split energy. No witness. No manifestation. No magic. No magi. The word magi means to create. Do you guys hear me? Do you feel me? Do you see me? There's code to this. Now, you could do this all day long. We could do this. Watch this. 1 plus 1 minus 1 plus 1 minus 2 plus 1 minus 1, blah, 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 all day long, which is spiritual purgatory. This is energetic purgatory. This is split energy. This is why we aren't going where we're going in the past. That's why we clear all this. When we speak something, we cancel clear because we're canceling the energy behind it. We're canceling the thought behind it. And that's why it's so important to program and reprogram constantly. So we are thinking and feeling and speaking and manifesting, okay? We can go back and forward, 2 steps back, 1 step forward all day long doing this because your mind is so powerful. Just like Peter, when Jesus said to Peter, "Who do they say I am?" Peter said, "Oh, you're the Messiah." And Jesus said, "Great job, Peter. You could not have known about this any other way except by Holy Spirit, which is I am that I am in him," right? Well, guess what? 2 or 3 scriptures later, he's having to say to Peter, the same guy, "Get behind me, Satan," because he said something stupid. He talked about him not dying on the cross. And so guess what? We can fall into the same trap, cancel, of having split energy where we can actually choose provision and talk about provision and remember provision, but then think about the bill or think about the fear or think about or talk about the fear. Okay, you want to see something even scarier than that? Y'all, please get with me here and understand this. Is everyone getting this? Is everyone understanding this? I'm gonna pull out one more thing here that I really choose for you to understand and get. And I choose for you to write this down yourself when you get home and really, really grab this. But look at this. 1, which is mind, thought, heart, speech. Let's say it's finances. It could be health. It could be love. It could be justice, whatever, okay? Minus 300 friends on Facebook. So you post something on Facebook and 300 people see that, guess what? Times their mind, their heart, and their talk. Oh my God. That is a terrible code. That is a lot of negatives. That is not just -0. That's negative thousands. Depending on how many people you have on Facebook. This is terrible, terrible, terrible. So, an example. Instead of saying, "Hey, everybody, pray for me, I'm sick," or "Everyone pray for me, I have a headache," cancel, cancel, cancel. When you bring headache into the sentence and into the energetic consciousness of Facebook, that is a negative frequency. That is a vibration that causes split energy. You don't want to speak those things that are currently happening. You want to speak those things that are not as though they are. Okay? Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why he says, before you have asked, I have given. Because it's a sound, it's an energy, it's the thought and the mind that creates a vibe that causes the vibration. So you can have both ways. You could be thinking something and bring it to you, or in the negative or in the positive. But when deep calls to deep, deep is a sound. When deep calls to deep, then we get what we are. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. And it's even bigger when we're the sound of writing something energetically on a post in Facebook. Now, instead, what can we do? Because I've had some people who say, well, I'm going to speak the truth. You know, I'm not going to make up stuff. I'm not going to just give a false report, even though scriptures say, cast down all those imaginations that don't line up with the knowledge of my God. Guess what? God in me isn't sick. God in me isn't lack. God in you isn't those things either. And if you have Christ I am in you, then you should not be declaring those things, because I'm telling you, God wouldn't say that stuff or feel that or think it about himself. So why are you? Why are we? We've got to change this mind, this heart, and this mouth to line up with what God says as he decrees positive things out of your mouth, or posts things that are positive in Facebook. So what can we say? Let me give you an example. We can say, thank you for voting my victory in my divine health now and always. You hear me? Thank you for voting victory in my divine health now and always. Now, again, you can switch that out with, thank you for voting my victory and my full provision. Please vote victory for me now, that I am provision, that I remember wholeness, being I am that I am, my full provision. Please vote victory of full provision in the body. Please vote victory that we are one and that we remember full on provision, health, love, whatever, you fill it in. Why is this important? Because when you give that energy, let me show you the equation to that. 1 + 1 + 1 times 3 times 300. And some of you have 5,000 friends. Some of you have way more friends than 300 times 3. Guess what? That's the Alpha and the Omega. That's the witness. That's the manifestation. That's the Magi. That's when we create. That's why it says where two or more are gathered. It's not just these two, but we can agree and we can get a collective consciousness of many, many folks together to speak those things that are not as though they are, to create the manifestation and the collective shifts that are required for this planet. Do you understand what I'm saying? So think about media. Why is that such a terrible tool for, quote, the enemy, which is really us? Well, because as soon as something tragic happens, it's not just posted one time. It's posted on multiple networks and multiple ways. Thinking about 9/11. We're still watching freaking posts of planes going into buildings, reliving it, re-talking about it over and over and over and over. And even the slightest, even untruths can be so exaggerated and given strength and energy and code in the negative that, guess what? Our planet stays. And so I choose for the United States, for our government, for our president, for our leadership, and for us, for all of us to remember and remind, and to continuously reprogram and set the stage for us to have the cool manifestations that we really, really say that we desire. Because many of us are not congruent yet. And I choose to be, meaning to be present, meaning to be fully on I am that I am. And so when I am and when I remember that God in me is, I am provision, I am all those things, we get to manifest those things. And when we share it with others, we multiply that, because we're 1 to the third power. It says 1 can do one thing and 2 can set more to flight, right? So we can continue to do that. Now, here's another little tip, and then I have some part 2s and 3s here. So you guys, please, I'm asking you to tag and share this with so many people as possible so we can actually have a ripple effect on the planet. But how do essential oils come into that? Well, you might ask me that. It's funny that you asked. Think about some of the oils that we use. Believe is one of them, okay? Awaken is another one. I don't know. I choose to know if you can see this. Peace, another one. Peace and calming. My destiny, highest potential, hope, magnify your purpose, into the future. There are so many different amazing oils. Finances, grow, field is another one. Lots of amazing oils. And guess what? This is code. This is frequency and this is vibration. And so when we use these on our body, not only is it a visual for us to see this on a label and remember our remembered whole, I am that I am, to be self, but there's code in this that helps us anchor the programming that's necessary and required for us to think about it, speak it, and to feel it, to manifest it like the Magi in existence. Magi, go back and watch my videos on the Magi. So that's how we can really get deep calls to deep, because when we think about these things, when we speak about these things, when we feel these things, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. He manifests it in the biofield, and guess what? Then we attract it. Science says that this field can only get a match. And so if you are seeing anything other than what God is in your universe, that is an opportunity for us to transform that by us individually shifting it within us first. And as we speak, think, and feel those things and come into the three witnesses to the mind, body, soul, the mind, heart, speech, which is the Alpha, the Omega, the one who was and is to come in us. And as we confirm those things like a double rainbow or a contract, signing it over and over and over, and as we are remembering to be present, which is I am that I am, the word I am am is G1510, which means to be present, to be. Alpha and Omega, which also means to be in infinite, eternal presentness. When we continue to remember those things and manifest those things, we can shift everything. We can shift our families, our children, our finances, our health, our love. We can be vessels. We can shift the media. My God, what if everything on the media was a conscious, collective, positive, beautiful love story that only ripple effect? More people thinking, feeling, and talking about goodness and all of who God is and all of who we are and all of who you are. You are those things because God is in you. And those of you who say, well, what about the people who don't have God in them and aren't awake to God? Guess what? They're still made in his image. And we get to demonstrate that. We get to be the hands and feet. Now, let me caution you one thing before I go here. Are you guys getting any of this? Are you excited? Do you have any of these oils? The scripture says, if any of you cause someone to stumble, that is a bad deal. So if someone comes to you and speaks negative or behaves in a negative way, if that is your brother, and if you have a place to speak to him, because it says if your brother sins against you, sin is just missing the mark. And anything done on the planet that is, quote, missing the mark affects you, and we are one. It says, if anyone sins against you, go to them and talk to them. Again, if any brother sins, go to them and talk to them. Brother indicates relationship. You don't go around correcting people that you don't know that you're not in relationship with. That is not how it works. But if someone has missed the mark in their thinking and their speech or in their feeling, we get to remind them to cast down all imaginations that don't line up with the knowledge of our God and teach them to take captive every thought and make it obedient. Because otherwise or you could be on the other end causing someone to stumble by being the negative person, by being the negative code that's drawing away from other people. So one more scripture says, if your foot or your hand causes you to stumble, it'd be better to cut it off, because we want to be whole, right? And so, and now he's not actually saying cut off your hands, but if you look at the whole body of Christ in us, and not a church building, but as a collective, unified spirit, we get to be, and to encourage, and to uplift, and to remind, and to remember our body within us and without us, within and in the environment that we're at. And yes, like Carolyn said, I recommit. I love that. I recommit to remembering. I recommit to building up my brothers and sisters. I recommit to being a witness to I am that I am, to remembering I am love, and my love stays. I stay. And so I hope this has been helpful to you, and went a little longer than I thought. Please, I'm telling you, please tag and share this. I'm actually going to give away a Believe bottle and maybe a few other fun things for the people who tag and share this with the most people. Okay? I Believe, and a few other cool things. I'm going to give away 4 or 5 prizes today. So you guys get going, tag your friends, share away. I'm going to have a part 2 and maybe a part 3, because I woke up this morning with all this revelation. I'm so excited. I hope this made sense to you. I hope you will share it. I hope, more than that, I hope you apply it. I hope you remember to be the 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1, because God in us is 1. That's Alpha. God in us is 1. We are 1. Remember your oneness, and be 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1, infinity and beyond +1, okay? And we are going to shift this world. I love you all so much. I hope this helped you. Can you tell I'm excited? I don't know if you could tell. I'm really excited. I texted so many friends this morning and was like, oh my God, I feel like a mad scientist writing all these charts and graphs. And I hope this made sense. I love you. Take care. Have a wonderful Friday. More to come. So be watching, and check out my videos, YouTube. Check out my Instagram. Check out my Divine Science and the Human Body, because there's way more private, crazy videos in there. So I love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.